Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for the likes, the comments, and for subscribing. Guess what? I will be updating you on Twist of Fate new season. Rhea to go on honeymoon with Ranbir, and Prachi challenged Rhea that she will stop this honeymoon. Will she succeed? Please subscribe to this channel and don't forget to click on the notification button to be notified anytime I drop a new video. The episode starts with Rhea telling Prachi that mommy booked honeymoon tickets for Ranbir and me, as she don't regard you as her daughter-in-law. She says mommy and I have heart relations, and even Ranbir and I have heart relations. But Prachi says mommy likes you as she dislikes me. She says you don't have heart relations with her. She says Ranbir and you have anger relations, as he was angry with me and that's why he married you. She says don't think that he's coming closer to you, but in fact he's going far from me. Rhea says you have good explanation to make your heart understand. Prachi says if any tree refuses to give the shelter, then the people will buy umbrella, and says you are that umbrella. She says it breaks with the wind. Rhea says tomorrow is my wedding night with him and you will be kicked out from here. She says until I return you can be peaceful here and then you can go. And she says Shushma aunt is not with you again and only Shahana is there. She says I can help you and says I can complain against you to police. You will get shelter and food, and asks her to take Shahana along with her. She goes. Prachi gets restless. She comes to Dida and Shahana. She hugs Dida. Dida says don't worry, Ranbir is not like that. He don't want to have honeymoon with Rhea. She says I won't let it happen. Dida asks Shahana, why did you say that Prachi will not stop Ranbir and Rhea's wedding night? Prachi says, I had decided not to stop them, but Rhea said something and made fun of my love and relation, and I got angry and challenged her that she can't have honeymoon. I won't let her. Shahana and Dida gets happy. Prachi says we have to do something different and says I will do this alone. Shahana says think with us and says plan is made all together. Prachi says I will make plan alone and says I am doing this as I have to win this challenge from Rhea and not because I have feelings for Ranbir. Shahana and Dida look at Prachi. Prachi asks about the hotel name and goes. Shahana enacts Prachi in front of Dida. Dida laughs and says she wants to get back with Ranbir and that's why she doesn't want him to go near Rhea. Shahana says Ranbir also lies. Dida says both are liars. Prachi comes back and hears them. She says I will make my own plan and scold them for making fun of her. Dida asks why are you lying to us? Shahana says you love Ranbir. Prachi says I don't love him and doing this to win this challenge. Dida asks her to think something fast, else Vikram's driver will take Ranbir and Rhea. Ranbir looks at the sky standing in the window and recalls Prachi's words. He recalls Rhea's words that she will help him to fulfill his third dream. You all know what the third dream is. To have a child with Prachi, Abi. Is Rhea Prachi? Prachi is also standing in the window and thinking about Ranbir's words. He says, I couldn't keep Prachi happy. I will go far away from her so that she stays happy. Prachi says, I won't let Rhea take you away from me. Rhea looks at Ranbir, speaks, and says, we are not going for our honeymoon, but away from Prachi, where we will unite forever. Prachi sleeps. Ranbir holds her. They have an eye lock. Prachi asks him to leave her and says, I don't need you. Ranbir says, I don't want to help you. Her Mangal Sutra gets stuck in his shirt. Ranbir asks, shall I try to take it off? Music plays. They free it and go separate ways. Ranbir thinks, what is happening with me? I have to move on, but my heart is stopping me. Prachi thinks I shall not forget what he has done with me. He is nothing to me. Pallavi says, I am blessing them for safe and happy journey. Rhea asks for Aliyah's blessings. Aliyah says, it is well with you always. Ranbir asks, where is Dida? Dida says, I have come and thinks Aliyah has manipulated Pallavi. Vikram asks Dida to act. Dida asks, why can't I do what I wanted? Vikram says the war is going on between Ranbir and Prachi, and when they realize their mistake, everything will be fine. Rhea looks for Prachi and thinks if she will come to see us off. She says, I have forgotten something, and goes. Ranbir thinks she went for some other work, not knowing that she's going to do show. Rhea comes to Prachi's room and calls her, thinks she has gone herself. She says, what were you saying yesterday? And says Ranbir himself is taking me for honeymoon. Rhea tells Aliyah that she is very sure that Prachi has accepted defeat. She looks at Prachi standing near the car. Aliyah, Pallavi, Ranbir, and others look at Prachi as well. Pallavi says she has come to do new drama. Rhea says, I will talk to her. She asks Prachi what is she doing standing beside the car. Prachi says, I will go with you, and then asks her to relax. Says, I don't like to go on a honeymoon. Pallavi says, we haven't arranged this car. Prachi says, I know, and tells that the car which Dad has arranged couldn't come as the driver is unwell. She says, your honeymoon is important. So I arranged another car and driver, and says, no need to thank me, as Ranbir's company will pay the bill for it. Pallavi says, I will talk to the driver how he got unwell. Prachi says, if you don't trust me, then call him. Rhea asks Prachi why is she doing this, and says, you have challenged me that you will not let me go, and asks, why do you want me to go? You have the chance, so you can spoil it too. Prachi says it will be spoiled when it starts, and says your honeymoon will be spoiled. Just go. It will be done. Pallavi calls the driver. The driver is resting on the bed and tells them that he is unwell and couldn't come to work. He says, I called the landline number and informed Prachi. Pallavi ends the call. Ranbir thanks Prachi for making his day and gets upset. He holds Rhea's hand and asks her to come. Rhea sits in the car. Ranbir says, bye, Prachi. He goes to Dida and hugs her. Prachi wishes Rhea a happy journey and says, your honeymoon and my challenge starts here. She says, I just spoiled your honeymoon. She asks her to think all way while I didn't delay your honeymoon. Prachi wipes her tears and recalls Ranbir telling her that they shall go to Manali for their honeymoon and holding her hand while going. And Rhea swears that she will miss her. Prachi says, it is good that you challenged me. Your honeymoon will not happen. The driver stops the car and tells them that it stopped working. Rhea asks Ranbir when they will reach hotel. He says till 10:30 p.m. Rhea tells the driver that the place is scary. Ranbir says if she is scared. Rhea says she was a bit scared and says this scary night turned into romantic night with you. The driver says the car seems to be fine but gives some problem in code. He asks Ranbir to push a car a bit and says there is mechanic nearby. And if we get late, then the garage will be closed. He says there is a hotel also nearby where people come and go. He says, I can't push the car as my hand is hot. Ranbir says, I will push the car. Driver says, you can't push it alone and asks Rhea to push it too. Rhea thinks this is very sure Prachi has done this to spoil my honeymoon. She asks driver to call car from their company. The driver says our office is near your home and it will take much time. Ranbir says 8 hours. Rhea thinks they have to reach honeymoon suite somehow. Driver asks them to push the car. Ranbir asks Rhea to sit in the car. Rhea and Ranbir push the car. Rhea says, my favorite dress has become dirty. Ranbir says, that's why I asked you to sit in the car. Driver makes a video call to Prachi. Prachi watches them pushing the car in her mobile. Dida hears their voice and peeps in Prachi's room. She says how Prachi is seeing Ranbir and Rhea. Ranbir's car is not working. She realizes that both car and driver is of Prachi and she stopped them. Rhea thinks driver is still on video call and not saying anything. She gets doubtful. Driver tells Prachi that he has to end the call as Rhea is coming. Prachi says let her come. Rhea asks with whom he was talking to and takes his mobile. Prachi says bingo. Rhea looks at her. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and come back for more updates from your favorite Z Word series.